Hi everyone, I'm Zoe with True Crime Stories.
Open
frontier
real people,
of 1800s. Kansas travelers.
This episode's going to be on
vanished
America's
without
first
a trace.
serial killer
Families searched. Friends waited. The prairie stayed silent until the ground began revealing its secrets. This is the story of the Bloody Benders. In 1871, the Bender family opened an inn on the Kansas frontier. John Bender Sr., his wife, Elvira, their son John Jr., and the charming Kate Bender presented themselves as humble settlers. Travelers stopped for food, rest, and disappeared. Men heading west never arrived at their destination. Letters stopped, families worried. But in the chaos of the frontier, disappearance wasn't unusual. Until a respected doctor vanished, and powerful people noticed. Guests were invited to dinner. They sat in the best seat, their back facing a curtain. As Kate distracted them, one of the Bender men stood behind the curtain with a hammer. One devastating blow, and if the victim lived, their throat was slit. Bodies were buried in the yard. When Dr. William York vanished, his influential brothers demanded answers. Search teams arrived. The Benders smiled, denied everything, and fled. When locals returned, the home was empty, except for a trap door, drenched in blood and shallow graves outside. At least 11 bodies were found, possibly many more. But the one thing authorities did not find was the Benders themselves. Their escape created one of the greatest Old West mysteries. When the bodies were found, shock turned into fury. Kansas demanded blood. News spread across the country. How could an innocent-looking prairie family become murderers? How many victims have truly vanished into their yard? Posses formed. Riders spread out across the states. Rumors claim sightings in Texas, New Mexico, even Mexico. Some sworn vigilantes caught and executed them in secret, but without proof. The Benders became legends. Ghosts of the frontier. Were they truly a family? Many historians believe they weren't related at all, but a team of criminals using the disguise of a family. Life to lure victims. Kate, the so-called psychic healer, may have been the mastermind, not just the bait. The Bender home became a morbid tourist attraction. The murders changed how frontier communities trusted strangers and each other. The case remains one of America's most disturbing unsolved endings. The Bloody Benders remain one of the most unsettling mysteries of the American history. Not just because of what they did, but because they vanished into history without ever facing justice. Their victims never got answers, and neither did the world. What makes this case so haunting is the silence that followed. A family of killers disappeared, leaving behind only bodies, rumors, and questions that may never be solved. The Benders remind us that evil can hide behind hospitality, behind smiles, and behind the illusion of safety, especially in a time when the law was far away and trust was all people had. And that's the darkest legacy of the Bloody Benders, a family who turned a place of rest into a place of death, and then vanished without a trace. Their story reminds us that some of the history's most terrifying crimes don't end with arrest. They end with unanswered questions. You've been listening to a true story where truth is darker than fiction. Until the next case, stay safe, stay aware, and I'll see you in the shadows of the next story.